Hi, how are you? I'm incredible. I prepared some remarks. The human brain. Will we ever really understand it? Probably not. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that when it comes to intellectual capacity, comprehension, and just being seriously smart in general, the human brain of today is so much better than the human brain of the past that's not even fucking funny. And in fact, if, God forbid, today's brain and the brain of the past were to hypothetically wind up in a maximum security correctional facility together, today's brain would make the brain of the past its bitch like in 2 seconds. Having sexual intercourse with the brain of the past's face for hours and hours at a time, making the brain of the past clean itself from top to bottom each day with nothing but a damn toothbrush, and even forcing the brain of the past to dress up in sexy yet ultimately unflattering outfits and prance around the yard to the delight and amusement of today's brain and its crazy-ass friends with face tattoos and intimidating nicknames like Cockpuncher, the Silencer, and Irritable Mike. Eventually, however, today's brain would grow bored and trade the brain of the past for a carton of menthol cigarettes, a George Thorogood cassette tape, and some wrinkled and faded pages from the JCPenney catalog bra section, and the brain of the past wouldn't say shit about it. God damn it. Later that day, today's brain would spot the brain of the past whimpering out in the yard and, without warning, start having sex with the brain of the past's face again, even though, in accordance with unwritten prison rules, you sell your bitch for a carton of cigarettes, some goddamn Thorogood in the JCPenney bra section, you back the fuck off. But whatever. Please, today's brain, stop fucking me in the face, the brain of the past would say. No, today's brain would reply. No, I won't. Ha ha, ha ha, ha. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we humans have a lot to be proud of when it comes to making progress in the getting smarter and smarter everyday department, and you can ask anyone. In fact, did you know that as recently as just a few hundred years ago, a large portion of the world's population was still under the impression that the Earth is flat? What a bunch of fucking idiots. Now even the biggest dope in the room here tonight can simply Google that shit on their phone, and it's like, duh, the Earth is round, and I have several pictures to prove it. Then they would probably hand you their phone or something. I don't know. And would you believe that in just 5 years we'll be able to get from place to place in driverless cars? Let's see Henry Ford or Lee Iacocca try that shit. Those motherfuckers would just be standing there with their dicks in their hands saying, What? I no get it. How a car go with no man's steer wheel? Fuck you, Henry Ford. And Lee Iacocca, you stupid fucking fucks. Anyway, another thing I was going to say is that advanced nations like the US have experienced massive IQ gains over time, a phenomenon first noted by academic and author James Flynn in a 1984 study, now known as the Flynn effect. From the early 1900s to today,
Simply not a thing.
From the early 1900s to today, Americans have gained 3 IQ points per decade on both the Stanford-Binet intelligence scales and the Wechsler intelligence scales. These tests have been around since the early 20th century in some form, though they have been updated over time, which is pretty cool. Another test, Raven's progressive matrices, was invented in 1938, but there are scores for people whose birth dates go back to 1872. It shows gains of 5 points per decade. In 1910, scored against today's norms, our ancestors would have had an average IQ of 70 or 50 if we tested with Ravens. By comparison, our mean IQ today is 130 to 150, depending on the test. So there's that. Thank you.